The topic of discussion is macromolecules and the subtopic is proteins. Let's see important properties of proteins first. Proteins are nitrogenous compounds made up of variable number of amino acids. Human body contains at least 10,000 different kinds of proteins. Everybody knows that proteins जो हैं वो amino acids से मिलकर बनी होती हैं. Derived from Greek word proteose meaning prime importance, contains mainly carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen. So we can say proteins are very high molecular weight macromolecules. All proteins yield amino acids upon hydrolysis क्योंकि वो amino acids से मिलकर बनी होती हैं. तो when they undergo hydrolysis तो वो amino acid produce करती हैं. Thus proteins may be defined as high molecular weight organic materials which upon complete hydrolysis yield amino acids. Next is classification of proteins. Proteins on the basis of physiochemical properties classified into simple proteins, compound or conjugated proteins, and derived proteins. Let's discuss first what are simple proteins. These proteins on hydrolysis yield only amino acids or their derivatives. Examples are albumin, globulin, legumin, collagen, etc. Globulins are insoluble in water but soluble in dilute salt solutions. Lactoglobulin found in mussels and plants, while legumin and collagen are connective tissue proteins. वो proteins when they undergo hydrolysis yield only amino acids called simple proteins. इसके example में albumin, globulin, legumin और collagen आते हैं. Globulins की next detail ये है कि ये water में insoluble होता है. सिर्फ soluble कहाँ होता है जब इन्हें हम इसका dilute salt solution बनाते हैं. Lactoglobulin found in mussels and plants, जबकि जो legumin है और जो collagen है they are connective tissue proteins. And they are the most abundant in animal kingdom, forming 25 to 35% of body proteins. So in this diagram you can see this is the structure of fibrous proteins, ठीक है, like collagen. Collagen एक fibrous protein है. Next is globular protein like hemoglobin. इसमें एक polypeptide chain होती है और दूसरी polypeptide chain होती है, मतलब ये दो polypeptide chains पे consist कर रहे होते हैं. And next is conjugated protein that we'll discuss in the next slide. So the examples we have read in the simple proteins also present in the plasma proteins. हमारा जो blood का जो portion होता है plasma उसके अंदर भी proteins present होती हैं that are albumins, that is 35 to 50 ग्राम पर लीटर. Globulins होती हैं. Globulins आगे further 4 types में divide होती हैं: alpha 1, alpha 2, beta and gamma. Gamma are immunoglobulins and third one is fibrinogen जो कि हमारे पास blood clotting protein होती है. Here we have a practice MCQ. Which of the following statement is false about protein? And the options are: it's a covalent bond, it's a polyamide, it contains different sequence of amino acids, primary structure is due to hydrogen bonding. And the correct option is primary structure is due to hydrogen bonding. The next division is compound or conjugated proteins. In these molecules, the protein is attached or conjugated to some non-protein groups which are called prosthetic groups. जो simple proteins थी, they are solely made up of amino acids. जबकि compound और conjugated proteins के अंदर protein part के साथ साथ कुछ non-protein groups भी होते हैं जिन्हें हम prosthetic groups कहते हैं. Protein plus non-protein group is equals to conjugated protein. Examples are phosphoproteins and lipoproteins. Like फॉस्फोप्रोटीन्स में फॉस्फोरस एक नॉन प्रोटीन ग्रुप होगा जबकि लाइपोप्रोटीन्स में लिपिड एक नॉन प्रोटीन ग्रुप होगा. सो हियर इज द स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ लाइपोप्रोटीन जिसमें लिपिड्स जो हैं वो प्रोटीन्स के साथ कॉन्जुगेट हुए होते हैं. लिपिड्स काफ़ी सारे टाइप्स के हैं. ट्राइग्लिसराइड्स भी प्रेजेंट हैं, इसमें फॉस्फोलिपिड्स भी प्रेजेंट हैं, फ्री कोलेस्ट्रॉल भी प्रेजेंट होता है और फैटी एसिड भी प्रेजेंट होते हैं. सो Proteins are conjugated with lipids in lipoproteins. And the last division is of derived proteins. This class of proteins includes substances which are derived from simple and conjugated proteins. So simple और conjugated proteins से जो proteins derive होती हैं उन्हें हम कहते हैं derived proteins. Examples are proteases, peptones, oligopeptides and polypeptides. Next, on the basis of functions, proteins are classified into regulatory or hormonal proteins, structural proteins, transport proteins and genetic proteins. Regulatory और hormonal proteins जो कि protein hormones होते हैं, structural proteins जो plasma membrane बना रही होती हैं, transport proteins like hemoglobin and genetic proteins like जो हमारे DNA का part होती हैं like histoproteins, histones. Here we have a practice MCQ. Example of transport protein is albumin, hemoglobin, globulin, and both A and B. And the correct option is both A and B. So this was all about the lecture. I hope you have understood it well and thank you so much.